Everybody, welcome to my channel. For those who don't know me, I am Amber Campbell. I'm an indie author of 3 poetry collections, and I put up a poll over on my community tab and asked my audience if they'd like to see more spoken word poetry, and if so, from which collection. And despite the fact that yesterday was the one's birthday, Missed Arrows was tied with Daughter of the Bottle, which I was actually really excited to see. So for those who haven't been following my journey, Missed Arrows is kind of my forgotten child. It just did not do as well as my other 2 collections. Not entirely sure why. I think it's because it's more petty poetry rather than anything like super deep or serious. Think of this one as like, I would say Taylor Swift Reputation meets like Sabrina Carpenter and Olivia Rodrigo in like their current albums. So it's very petty, very romance, heartbreak centered. So if that's your vibe, this is definitely the collection for you. But I do want to read a couple pieces from here. This is divided amongst 4 sections. I'm going to be reading from The Beast and The Renegade today, and if you like it, I will also read from the other sections later in the future. I might try doing a spoken word poetry video like once a month or once every other month, so we will see how it goes. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Missed Arrows. This first piece is titled Love Is. Love is patient, love is kind. Love doesn't waste your time, so maybe you weren't a waste of mine. All those sleepless nights, tear stains on the pillow that no longer carried your cologne, conditioning myself to believe you must be right. Love does not envy, it does not boast. Love will always hurt the most when the one you promised to always want leaves you stranded for a golden coast. Love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres, even when you aren't here. And all my deepest fears are on display, like my broken heart when you left that May, 2 weeks before my birthday. Love never fails, but it doesn't always prevail. I was still by the phone when your ship set sail, waiting for a call when you had already failed. For anybody who has read this collection, I will be censoring myself for this next poem, just because I don't know how YouTube is. But this one is titled Tainted Religion, Intentional Decisions. Once upon a time, I apologized because I wasn't enough. Now I only ask why I wasn't. Was I too intelligent? Was I too strong? Were my ambitions too high? Did I build you up too much? Did my beauty stun you until you couldn't tell me from the sun? I ask, but the answers come to me in nightmares disguised as dreams, as demons disguised as angels, as beasts disguised as men. It was never my mental strength and emotional tenderness that disgusted you. It wasn't my intellect and independence that horrified your Christian facade. It was my body. It was always my body. I was too pained for your tongue. My skin, stained with the ghoulish touch of another, burned your fingers. Your God promised you a pure bride, a virgin, a woman deserving of the clean body you promise. You said I was deflowered, and yet your same God called me in his image, not that of a plant. Your words sear into my brain, the damaged one you couldn't imagine caring for, because a woman is meant to care for the man. I needed support, and you ripped the floorboards from beneath me. You welcomed me into your home and scorned me for dragging my dirty feet across your pristine carpet. You prayed to your God, and you heard him say, I wasn't for you. He was right. This next poem, and I'm only reading 3 from this section, just to try to even out the emotions, but this one is called Burning. Burning bridges has nothing to do with forgiveness or lack thereof. It gives the victim the opportunity to show their accused that they're enough. It's about taking back control of what was stolen, what was ruined, what was manipulated. Forgiveness is about love, but burning is the act of opening the floodgates to the restoration of power that only comes when we realize we mistook what we thought was love for what you called convenience. Burning bridges is for us to reclaim our personhood and teach the world that forgiveness does not come with friendship. Forgiveness is first and foremost to ourselves. We forgive ourselves for falling in with snakes and lions. We forgive ourselves for giving too much to the ones who don't give enough. We forgive ourselves for believing lies because the face delivering them was as beautiful as an angel. Burning bridges is to remind the fire wielder that the path taken can never be chosen again. Your religious texts preach forgiveness, but your God also said my body is a temple and should be respected and regarded as such for being in his image. You didn't respect my earthly body because you thought the graffiti on my soul diminished your ROI in the church-sanctioned union. You didn't throw the stones at the woman, but you smiled when someone else did. Burning bridges creates a safety net for those seeking refuge. If we can't cross over, you can't either. We are saved by the irreparable damage we inflicted on man's creation because man could never revere the beauty of nature without their glass walls to separate them from the heat of the inferno set by us. You view my actions as reckless, but I know they are the necessary backlash to the unnecessary cruelty you inflict because you were told how superior you were to me because of your body. Burning bridges is the mature decision. I burned my bridges with you so I wouldn't succumb to the weak desire to call on you and reach out to you before my heart caught up to my mind. I burned our bridge with the fire you set ablaze in me when you decided to step away until I became a person worthy of your love. How crass of you to think I was ever low enough to need yours. I want to take a little break right here and just mention that if you look at some of the reviews on Goodreads for Missed Arrows, my absolute favorite one says, I hope the author's in a better place, and I am in a much better place. All of these relationships that are kind of talked about occurred before the pandemic, and this was published this year. So, doing much better. This was just, my therapy to let it all out. And, for those who couldn't tell, this was an individual who wanted to bring me to his religion. And I still identify as Catholic, but I do not identify as his kind of Catholic. So, as evidenced probably by my poetry. But that was poems from The Beast. The next section I want to read from is The Renegade. So this one is probably going to be the tamest of the first three sections. There's not as much anger as there is just, I think, more sadness, more longing, and it's kind of looking at a relationship ending from a different perspective where, neither party did anything wrong, it just didn't work. I feel like this is probably, I reference Taylor a lot, but I absolutely adore her. This is probably the Taylor Swift, Harry Styles that we thought had happened, where we were all excited for 1989 to come out, and then we realized, oh, Harry did her wrong. But perhaps it's more Taylor Swift, Joe Alwyn, where it just kind of ran its course. And I feel like that's more accurate for this section. So if you've ever encountered a relationship where things were good, but they just weren't progressing, this is the area for you. This next piece is Untitled, and it's one of the poems that opens up The Renegade. Your cruelty is the most tender I've experienced, and your honesty is the most painful declaration that ever bruised my ears. See me, hold me, don't speak of the truth, for it's too soon. Your hand on my thigh, and my fingers tangled in my hair as the wind sucked the sound from your car, are the only memories you left me. The cruelest honesty always creates the deepest longing. This next poem is called Eden. Summer hasn't felt the same. The once whimsical winds of release suffocate the lungs you filled with smoke, and the sun that once kissed my skin now leaves cherry red burns where your tattoos once rubbed. The wash of relaxation within the chlorine and sunscreen now bleaches my soul until my body is rid of every memory of you and me. The huskiness of your voice in the morning, the sinful temptation that introduced me to Eden. I couldn't have found the door without following the snake trails in the dirt. And evil is selfish, but selfish isn't always evil. You cared for me in the trenches of your mistakes, and only your fingers laced with desire are what led to my ruin. Your words rang true, but my ears drowned them out each time your lips found mine. This next piece is titled Unwant. Your beliefs laid across the table, no different than the plates we ate off of. Yet I closed my eyes to change my fate and pretend I never knew what you wanted. You wanted me, but not my future, and I couldn't comprehend how you could so badly want me here now, but not tomorrow. A gust of wind blowing you from girl to girl, but you wanted me, at least for a little while. And now I sit on my bedroom floor, wanting you to walk through my door and tell me you changed your mind and you wanted more. I close my eyes, but I can't escape into a future where you choose me. This last piece, titled Good One. You could have been mean. You could have broken my heart with lies and insults, left me wishing you were dead like the last. You could have shown off your new arm piece to reiterate just how done you were with me. But you didn't, because good ones don't hurt to make things easier. I can't hate you, and that makes me hate myself. I want to tarnish your name, but with what transgressions? You committed no crimes. Your tongue stayed honest, and your intentions were never questioned. It was hard to hear you say excuses that could have been reasons, but at the end, it was all ribbons and paper to wrap the final gift of, I'm not the one for you. I'm tired of dodging bullets. I want to hear the ring reverberate in my ear. Want to feel the metal rip my flesh and smell the singed aroma of lead. Taste the tingles it will leave on my tongue. I want to be shot, because then at least I will be claimed. It's better to have loved and maimed than never to have loved at all. Isn't it? Maybe we weren't compatible. I wanted a family, and you wanted to travel. Now you're talking about a family, and I'm dashing to as many corners of the world as I can. I needed stability, and you needed freedom, but now there's a ring on your hand without the paper to match, and my muses have taken me to more cliff's edges than any past lover ever has. Maybe we weren't compatible in the moment, but I realize we still aren't now. You never lied. You told me from the beginning this wouldn't last, but I thought it was a challenge, something you wanted me to fight for. But a woman doesn't fight. I've since learned the right woman will have a man lay down his weapons if it means holding her forever. The right woman doesn't need to fight, and neither does her love. The two will find each other and hide in a tiny home in the woods and away from the world because they no longer need it. I hope you find what I've found, if you so desire it. I hope you continue to be a good one for the future lovers you encounter, because I don't believe your former flames when they say you're difficult. I know I'm naive, but that doesn't mean I'm ignorant. You can't hide goodness like yours. There's no mask large enough to conceal danger if it's inevitable. You will always be a good one in my memory, and I hope I'm a good one in yours. But maybe in this one, I'm the villain, because there's always one, isn't there? You tried to play the villain, but I stole the role without effort, because as my former flames will tell you, I'm too much and not enough. I think I did more heavy poems than petty for this reading. I do apologize. But honestly, the Beast and the Renegade are a little bit more on, I think, the reflective side. The monster is just all petty completely. And then the Bard is more self-reflection. So If you have read this, let me know. I always love finding out who's read it and who's grabbed a copy. Right now, as I mentioned before, The Ones, which is my debut, its birthday was yesterday, the ebook is on sale right now for $2.99. That's going to be going on until October 1st. And of course, you can always pick up signed copies in the link down below. So, thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you like this, let me know down in the comments below. And I'll do some more. Probably do The Ones next, because I have not done it yet. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, subscribe, hit the like button, comment, share, all the clicky button things. And I will see you all next time. Bye.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room.